Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, let's make a console.
Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. That's right, the video game show that is not hosted by an annoying e-beggar. There is no Patreon, no super chats. That's right, we just talk about the games we love and how fun it is to hoard them, collect them. Now, with that said, let's get ready for the show. On today's episode, this show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. Is this the worst console launch? Well, let me tell you, it's the worst that I've ever seen. Let's read out here. I made a couple of notes here, guys, of just a few things of this glorious shit show that is the Amico launch. Let's see. Number 1, death threats to an investor. Talk about a toxic public relations campaign. We're talking about video games here, guys. Ah, jeez. I mean, I'm no fan of Smash JT, but he doesn't deserve that. But that's what's being created. That's the ambience that's being created with this just terrible public relations campaign, amateurish at best, that was created by the company. I mean, it's just terrible. Second, we have a third delay announced as a weekend information dump at midnight. Well, this is shady, cowardly at best. It's just wrong, guys. They should have came out, they should have done a video. Tommy should have sat down and talked to people and just be honest with them. Alright, third, we have a crappy self-serving gift given to pre-order holders of non-Amico related music. This is what really soured me personally on the company. I mean, this gift was disrespect, guys, in so many levels. And I know there's a lot of Tommy fans out there, but I'm not buying Tommy music. People are ordering consoles. And those apologists out there, you know, you guys, you're out of your mind if you think this is okay. Number 4, there's an SEC inquiry with a second one perhaps looming in regard to what's being presented to investors, specifically contributions of personnel no longer with the company. Is there an unhappy investor perhaps? Someone snitched for sure, guys. The SEC doesn't come doing inquiries for nothing. Somebody said something and was very specific to what they wanted to ask. And it looks like there's another employee sort of in the same situation. We don't know. We'll see what happens. But if it's an unhappy investor, it's not going to be good news. Now, with that said, Jay Allard's participation is explained in a response to the SEC. And if you look at the response, it contradicts the impression given to investors. Now, this is where you have to be careful, guys, because a lot of people are saying that people lied, this and that and the other. You know, marketing, you choose your words. You know, when you say a person made a significant contribution, for example, and you're not specific, maybe you're talking about he was a great motivational speaker. You know, maybe he gave you great moral support. That's how he contributed. We don't know. But, of course, you know, his name lends a lot of credibility to the project. So, we'll see what happens. Problems persist with the motion controller after months after the second delay. And this is, you know, this is actually kind of bad, guys. And I'll tell you why. Because you knew whoever's working on this, they knew this was going on earlier this year when they were crowdfunding, and before, you know, the launch was canceled. And not only that, they knew they weren't going to have it ready by the second time. So I mean, I think that's fairly obvious to anybody looking at this. That's my opinion anyway, and that's not good. You know, I mean, those are the kind of things you see in this company that just make you shake your head. You know, you want to cheer for them, but then they do shit like this. You know, it's just, I just can't. Sometimes I just don't even want to look at it. To tell you the truth, I'm kind of burned out at talking about this crap. And last but not least, Intellivision starts a new fundraising campaign with a different website. Why? Ask yourself that. After raising $11 million earlier this year and having nothing to show for it, they've produced nothing of worth. A couple of, you know, demos, I mean, they need to get back to the drawing board, and they need to do things the right way if they want to be successful. But as far as I can tell, guys, and I've been looking at consoles since the Atari, this is the worst console launch that I've ever seen, specifically when it comes to PR.
Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Guys, this is the worst month I can ever recall in the whole time that I've been involved with video games. This is the worst week I've ever seen for any video game company ever. That's saying a lot. And we've been through some stuff, right? We've been through the Saturn launch. We've been through the PS3 when it's $600. We've been through a lot. We've been through the Wii U. But this takes the cake, right? And it really shows that two things can be true. And some of you actually out there don't believe that. You really have to love in television or hate in television. You're on both sides. And, you know, two things can be true. Let me give you an example. I used to have a friend, and he was a great friend, man. Great buddy. We used to hang out. He was my road dog, you know what I'm saying? So I give him a job. Biggest mistake I could ever make for my career, because even though he was a great friend, his work ethic wasn't there, right? I'm a workaholic. I'm a, get it done type of guy. When it comes to work, I don't mess around. I go in there, I get the job done and go out, right? And there's some people that show off to work, and that's more of a social event for them. It's just they're on a different playing field that you are, and they never get stuff done. I think this is a lot of what's happening with this company here. You have people that do not have, right, the wherewithal to do the job that they're assigned, right? Starting with the CEO, right? The problem with the Amico now, guys, and let me tell this to future investors, right? I don't know why you would invest, and this is not financial advice. I'm merely entertaining you. But one of the craziest thoughts you could have right now in your mind is sinking more money into this ship, right? Because none of the things that are problems, major problems in this company, have been addressed at all, right? If I was an original investor through the first crowdfunding that they did, or the first lot of shares that they sold, I would be extremely pissed. I want you guys to go back to that video. I want you to go to back to that video and just watch it. Just watch it and see how many things have not come to pass. The biggest being for the investors is that they were going to see money this year. Because they're talking about 10x returns. Guys, 10x returns are only if they sell 25 million consoles. What? 25 million? You're lucky if you sell 25,000. You can't get any done, right? You've had 2 years and you have nothing to show for it other than burned payroll hours. That's all you have. You have incomplete games, and you've had a couple events, but you haven't delivered, right? And you violated the #1 rule of business. And what's the #1 rule of business, guys? Let's say it together. Be on time. And they violated that not once, not twice, 3 times now they've missed the target, and the 4th target is going to be who knows, right? And they're raising money based on that. That is just insane, because we have some obvious glaring problems in this organization. It's not results based, right? And guys, you can tell things about companies, right? If you have a company that's not hitting their targets, and they're having lunches, and they look happy-go-lucky, I don't know what places you guys have ever been, but when you're not doing your job, when you're not performing, usually workplaces, things aren't running that smooth. You know what I'm saying? People are not in great moods, because a lot of companies that produce things are result-based, right? If you don't meet your quarterly output, you're not going to get your bonus. If you don't meet your 6-month output, you're going to miss your bonuses, right? It doesn't look like these people are paid based on performance. They're just there to earn a paycheck whether they perform or not. That's a problem. That's a problem when you have deadlines and you just get, well, it's just not there. You've wasted 2.5 years here. This technology was already old when you were going to put it out. Now it's even older. It's outdated, right? But the PR has been so bad that, like I've stated before, it's created an army of detractors, right? And they're on every single thing that anybody promoting this console says. Now, right now, since they're fundraising, you guys making videos, especially ball washing, you're going to be promoting. Oh, we'll be watching, don't worry, because we want to hear those hard-hitting questions that you ask, like, hey, how's your mustache growing? How do you get your mustache to go that way? No, guys, come on. Come on. Dudes, with three delays, you're going to ask those kind of questions? Now, that doesn't mean you have to be an a-hole, but you can say something like, hey, with the challenges you're facing of not delivering these consoles when you thought you would, what do you think would be most helpful to help you achieve your goal? Something along those lines. You don't have to be an a-hole, but you don't have to throw these softball questions out there. But, you know, it's not the fault of the interviewers, because all this, and I'm not trying to put anybody down, right? It's just this PR has not been done by a professional firm or professional social media firm. So you get a lot of amateur type results. And this is what can go wrong when you don't have a controlled process as far as delivering your message to the public, right? If you look at any company, if you look at very successful companies, they deliver vetted messages. They don't have guys out there just talking and they can misspeak and say something out of turn, whether it's a CEO or somebody else. Everything they say is a news release, it's a press release, right? It's vetted, so they know they're saying the correct things. And that's the problem with this company. It's actually quality. If you look at many of the things that they've messed up is just from somebody else not double checking it. So what happens? The internet, your detractors are doing your quality control for you. So when you slip up, they'll look at it, point it out, say, no, you said this here, on this day you said that, right? When you have a more controlled environment, right, and you have professional people doing this, they've already done that work for you. That's why you pay them the big bucks, right? But this console has gotten to the point where if somebody just Googles it, right, what are they going to find? Sure, they're going to find a couple of advertisements, but then they're also going to find a couple of interesting videos made by YouTubers out there, right? And the other problem this company has is they're horrible communicators, right? Horrible communicators, even the people that they put out there. They're not upfront, right? Like I said, their messages have to be vetted. So what happens? You have to listen sometimes to two guys that spend their first 2 minutes of their podcast talking to you about pubic hair and how to take care of your balls. Some people are looking here for the content that the company should deliver themselves. This has been a mess. It's been a tragedy, you know? When I started looking at this company, I started looking at it because I wanted Retro Reimagined. I wanted Night Stalker. I wanted to play Moon Patrol, right? And all those great games. You know, Cloudy Mountain, man, when I saw that, I was just like stoked. Facts are facts, and the biggest facts are what you tell the government, right? The situation's gotten so bad that there's SEC inquiries, right? And I've seen people trying to blow it off. Oh, no, they fixed that already. They fixed that already. No, guys. Let me tell you, when the SEC starts sniffing around, it's not a good thing.
Now, before this, it doesn't matter what anybody said. Think of all the YouTubers and what they said about this person's involvement in the console. Think about what the Amico personnel said about this person's involvement in the console. Let's read it together. Mr. Allard has not played a material role in Amico product development. End of story. Everything else besides this is BS.
Right? If I'm an investor, I'm thinking, Allard's there, I'm in, right? And did he make a great contribution? Not to the console. It could have been moral, it could have been, you know, pep talks, motivation. You don't know. It could be anything, right? And that's the thing about salesmanship, guys. Unfortunately, for people who like the Amico, like myself, and for future investors, Tommy's name is tied to this console for eternity. you're not going to be able to pull them away. When anybody thinks about the Intellivision Amico, they're going to think about Tommy, and they're just going to think about this whole shit show that has happened, right? Are you going to get 25 million consoles out of that? It's highly unlikely.
New videos every Monday and Sunday. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, click that notification bell, and remember, never ever be afraid to be happy. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.